Good afternoon and welcome to the P&P Show. Pope and Parsons brought to you each week for the local chapter of NAACP, courtesy of BW Radio. How you doing today, Doc?
Mr. Pope, I am doing quite well, and what about you?
Doing well. Enjoying this beautiful day here in January.
It's nice, isn't it? It's
beautiful.
Nice.
I want to say Happy New Year to all our listeners out there.
And how was your New Year?
Excellent. Had a real nice, quiet, peaceful New Year.
And what are your resolutions for this year?
Is to win the lottery.
Well, that might be possible. You never know.
You can't ever tell.
We also have a guest with us today, Mr. Pope.
Yeah, we got a friend of ours that's been associated with us over a number of years and always comes in full of information and a wealth of information for us. And so, good to have you here, Jesse.
Thanks for that kind of introduction, and I hope I have some information for you. We'll see.
And Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year's. You was talking about resolutions and stuff. You guys, health is always the first thing in our resolutions.
It should be.
We got to take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
And especially as us gentlemen are getting older, we want to remain active and keep on going. In fact, I'll say something to that. You guys have been around for a long time. But you know what?
That makes me feel good, Jesse.
I don't want to see you guys go anytime sooner than you have to. So you guys are still alive and kicking, so you guys better take care of yourselves so you can still stick around for a while.
Us, man.
Right.
True.
Yeah. So your resolution is to take care of yourselves.
Yeah. At least that minimum. Well, Jesse, it's been a while. How are things going for you? And what have you been doing lately?
Well, I just like to kind of keep up what's going on in town.
You do a wonderful job.
There's a changing of the guard. I don't remember when the program goes on the air, but by the time it goes on the air, we'll have at least a new council member. And the day we're recording this, the city council will put a new Darren Truan as a former Hutch police officer.
That's right.
Well, he made it to the city council, and he'll be replacing John Richardson.
Okay.
And so
who's going to be the mayor now?
That'll take place. If they go like they usually do, where they had the vice mayor before it kind of steps into the shoe traditionally, and I don't think that's ever been changed. I'm not sure.
Who's the vice mayor?
So that would be Scott Megers.
Who's Scott?
So I think Scott Megers will be the next mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure who's up for vice mayor after that. So,
that's good.
But yeah,
good.
So that will take place. So that's part of the new year, something that's happening with the city. Downtown development seems to be, I kind of keep more of a toe in the water. What's going on there? Oh, there's a new downtown. I'm not sure what his title is, but he's kind of like where Jim Sightnader used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Downtown city
Developer.
director or developer, manager, whatever. And sorry for not knowing the title, but Scott Cooley is the new downtown director. Let's just call that for now, but we can figure out his official title later. But it's Scott Cooley, so we'll have a new gentleman that's going to kind of direct, and put together what's going on with the downtown development. Mm-hmm. So Scott Cooley will be in that position now, basically where Jim Sightnader used to be.
Is he a local person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's he's the guy that helped develop the old Stevens building on South Main, next to the hardware store, next to Ace.
Hardware.
Yeah, so he helped develop that building. I think he has some other properties, but I think his main one downtown was that Stevens building, which was a nice improvement that they made, and a redevelopment for that building, which is a living space and some retail down on the bottom for hairdressing. And
how much closer are we on getting Memorial Hall air conditioned?
We're doing okay. That's moving forward. That project is all tied in with some STAR bonds that were developed for that for the three for a district, which included three entities that they're going to be working on, and that would be the Cosmosphere will still get some of that STAR bond money, the Landmark apartments. I believe the apartments. Yeah, that building on right there on 5th and Main.
Yeah, right.
That'll be used to be the old hotel. That's part of the Star Bond project, and then the Memorial Hall is included in that. So Memorial Hall will get the air conditioning. There is still at the time of this recording is an RFP that's still open for somebody that wanted to come in and manage Memorial Hall, and also for a contractor that wanted to come in and help with the renovation of the hall. So there's 2 RFPs out there right now, and so they're looking for both those. The city's looking for management for the room and looking for a contractor to help renovate the room. So that's moving forward. So we'll see some things happening in the future with that still. So no, we're moving forward with Memorial Hall.
Jesse,
Sounds good.
I don't know the answer to this question, but is it being used a lot at Memorial Hall?
Oh yeah, I think it continues. You know, the only problem that's been in the past was just the lack of air conditioning, so the room is shut down for a few months out of the year.
Too hot.
And so once we get the air conditioning back in that room, then I think we'll even see more use of the room. Listen, I want to remind, I think something with the Memorial Hall. Part of the gripe that's always happened in the past was about spending $100,000 on the room and not getting anything out of it, so to say, in return. But it's a municipality, a public municipality, just like a shelter in the park or an activity room that you go to in the park or your parks, period. The thing is, if we develop the room where we have activities going on, such as concerts, like concerts on a national level, artists on a national level, or some good tribute bands and stuff. There's some good tribute bands out there, too, that I think we'll probably see stuff like that. But the thing is trying to get 2,000 people at a time downtown more frequently. And so we may...
the right venue, that shouldn't be too hard, though.
Yeah, and that can happen at Memorial Hall. We may still, as a city and taxpayers, we may still spend some money on that hall to provide for the amenities that it takes to make the room happen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the point is, if we're still putting $100,000 in the room a year, the thing is now you don't have to question why we're spending that money, because now you'll know that it's bringing in 2,000 people, and then those 2,000 people coming downtown will hopefully, the money will come from the businesses around it and the development of the downtown area, and could be new restaurants and retail, whatever. Who knows what can happen when you have all this traffic going downtown because of the events that are happening at the hall. Mm-hmm. So it just helps develop. Just spending your money right is what it comes down to. Where you weren't spending the money before for nothing was happening there. Well, now we're going to spend the money to make things happen there. So.
Sounds encouraging, because we always want to think that our money's making a difference.
And if we're lucky in the end, if we're lucky in the end, then we do make a profit off of it. So that's exactly a possibility. So, but no, we just got to go in the momentum that we're going in the field, going the way that we're going, to make sure that the money is spent wisely, and then hopefully we can make some money on it.
Sounds good. Another thing, we're in January of 2026, and January is a busy month. We've got a lot of things going on, and we've got one of the key things we have going on during the month of January is we always have our observance of the Martin Luther King holiday and observance, and so there's some things on the menu that's coming up in that area. And can you talk to us a little bit about Doc?
Yes, on January the 18th, that is a Sunday, I think, beginning at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a religious service, and our pastor, our preacher, our minister for that day is the Reverend Dr. Alan Smith from Salina,
Kansas.
St. John Missionary Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
You have heard of him, have you not, before, Mr. Pope?
Absolutely. He's a dynamic speaker. He's also the president of the Salina chapter of NAACP. So he's
Oh, is he
dynamic.
really?
He's a
I did not
dynamic
know
young
that.
man, and he's an eloquent speaker, and I'm looking forward to hearing him because it's always a treat to.
And he's going to bring his choir with him.
So that's an added treat. They do an excellent job as well. So that's going to be a very exciting day.
Well, Pope, let's talk about why is it that we have 2-day observance instead of one?
Well, Dr. King had more than one hat. He had several hats, and so
Yeah.
as we all know, that Dr. King was a minister, a Baptist minister,
That's right.
and he also was a community activist, a social justice activist, and that
That's
sort of
right.
thing. So he was involved in that as well. And so the first day is kind of geared towards his ministry, his work in the ministry, and so forth. And then the second day is his the day of his activism and the things that he did, promoting social justice and equality. So we think that that kind of gives kind of a nutshell the things that he really was involved in.
Do you think the church plays a significant role in social justice, or should it?
Absolutely. I think that the church has a very significant role in social justice because, especially in our community, because what our history has been in our community, the church has been the focal point for for in our culture to gather and to get things done, and for where people can assemble and regroup and do things like that. And so if the church has a captive group on Sunday, and so what they can do is they can keep people informed, they also can help people know that there's a role that individuals have to play in the communities that they live in. And who better encourage them than their pastor.
That's right.
Or their leader.
Right. Well, the second day, which is Monday, January the 19th, we're going to start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead, Mr. Pope. Who is our special guest on that Monday?
Now, this is really exciting for me because our special guest is Dr. Mildred Edwards. And she's a dynamic speaker. I think that she's been here in the past, and I think those that have heard her, have had the opportunity to listen to her, will agree with me because she's well worth hearing and listening to. And so I'm looking forward to hearing and visiting with her again.
I think she's a psychologist or a counselor by training, isn't she?
Absolutely. Yes, that's what she does. She's a motivational speaker. And she does, we talked about Dr. King having more than one hat. She's another young lady that's got she's got several hats that she does. If you'll remember, we're here a while back, a few years ago that she did a training session at the Law Enforcement Training Academy out there for the state of Kansas for law enforcement officers. And so she's got varied talents, and she's exceptionally good speaker.
Let's reiterate this again, Pope, for the listening audience. On both January the 18th and 19th, we will be celebrating the King Day holiday.
And the thing we've talked about is everywhere except where it's at,
Exactly. And so it's going to be held at Stringer Fine Arts.
Stringer Fine Arts.
On the campus of Hutchinson Community College.
And that's at 600 East 11th.
And that would be both for the Sunday and the Monday.
And how much does it cost?
It is absolutely, unequivocally, free.
Free.
And there are not many things today that are free.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
But all we want are bodies
to
come out and support what we are trying to do for a number of years.
Good, yeah.
Take a guess, Pope. How long have we been doing this?
We've been doing it since actually when it was recognized as a holiday signed into law in 1983.
1983. It took a while.
And it was the first observance was in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it took until 2000 before all 50 states to, officially have it as a paid holiday, but it's been to answer your question, we've been observing it as a holiday since 1986.
1986. And I recall, and you recall, the very first one here in Hutchinson at Amdale Community Center,
absolutely. And at that time we had a community activist by the name of Martha Woodard Rollins. That was the one that was behind getting that thing started and going, and that was
the very first one.
And it was a memorable event.
It still is to some degree.
I was just thinking about, when we talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and some of the things that he done, what he stood for, and what his life represented. Well, and you think about, back when he started that stuff, really, it takes me back to 1955, around Rosa Parks thing, and when she
yes,
refused
yes.
to move in the Montgomery bus boycott thing, and I think about some of the kind of things that we were working for then, and sometimes it reminds me of that old adage. I don't know if you've heard it before, but it says, "The further we go, the behinder we get." And in some instances, it feels like that. Well, we'll have to admit, there's been some segments of progress in some areas, but it seems like we make 2 steps forward and 1 backward in many cases. And now I'm talking about in reference to civil rights and equality and that sort of thing, leveling the playing field, truly leveling the playing field.
Well, it is hard for people to have a change of mind and heart, and I think people need to care. They need to care about each other. And sometimes we're so divisive that we cannot get beyond the forest to see the trees.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I agree with you. I think that, and especially what's troubling to me is, and I know this is an NAACP program and we're nonpartisan, but one of the things that's troubling to me is our current administration seems to be more divisive than uniting people. It seems to be dividing them, and that's a big concern, because when we have, our government, it seems like that it's not trying to be inclusive of all citizens, and we're a very diverse country, very diverse nation, and we're not trying to be inclusive of everyone. I mean, it's frustrating and depressing, to think about that.
Well, the question arises: what type of society do we want to have? A society that is assimilating people, or a society that is pluralistic? And let's talk about that. What are the advantages or disadvantages of assimilation versus pluralism? Assimilation denotes that, you're going to come into any country and going to take on their values and belief systems. Mm-hmm. Pluralism, you maintain your own.
Exactly.
Separate. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about that?
I think
Jesse, come on into the conversation, Jesse.
That's always been an interesting question. I've lived in different countries before. I've had the opportunity to get out of Kansas, which actually makes me but having gone out of Kansas makes me appreciate Kansas more in some ways. No, I'm proud to be from Kansas, and happy and lucky and glad. It's a nice place to live. It's a nice state. Hutchinson's a good little town when you compare it to the rest of the world. It's just easy to live here. But I find that an interesting question. I can't remember what group I was associating with, maybe just recently, and it had to do with immigrants and refugees and people in different countries and all this kind of stuff. But, when you go to a country, I do feel in a way that you should try to acclimate to their customs and stuff, and their language, in a sense.
Well, you have to.
It's good, like in America, that I think Spanish is another popular, language, of course, in all of America. But I do think it is that if you live in America, you should learn English. Just like if I went to France, I should probably learn France to get by better, just for my benefit. So, I don't know. If you move to a country, I do kind of feel that you should kind of accommodate yourself. It's best for you, the individual, to try to learn much of that country as you can, and, even when it comes to language. So when you come to America, it helps to try to learn what we do in America, and it helps if you learn English, I believe.
But I think one of the things that I agree with you, but I think one of the things that's also important is the fact that you still maintain your identity, because, a lot of times when you come someplace, people want to, just erase you, so to speak, And I think it's important that we still recognize that we are, while we're all human beings and everything, there is, our cultures are somewhat diverse and that sort of thing. And I think it's important to realize that we make up, like they say, a bouquet rather than just a bland collection.
No, so to my other side of that too, and I wasn't just meaning you should just come here in not forget about your heritage, because that is what makes America America.
Right.
Different people.
Is that we are diverse, and no, it's great to go and learn another culture, and that you're able to do that even while being here in Hutchinson and Kansas in America. You know, it's great. The interesting thing, when I was living overseas, like if I was, I can't remember, but a lot of the countries overseas, they have like little organizations from other countries. So like if let's say I lived in Amman, Jordan for a while, and in Jordan and Amman, there was like the British Council, or I can't remember exactly what they were called, but like there's all these little sections of the people from those countries. They had their own like little clubs, you know.
Yeah.
And it could consist of anything, where you go run, like a running club, where it's just like here in the States, here in Hutchinson, you have running clubs that are famous for, afterwards they stop at a brewery and have a beer still, you know, or something like that. But still, so they have those same clubs like overseas. It's funny. So like you could join those clubs. So you could go hang out with the British. You can go hang out with the Filipinos. You can go hang out with the French. You know, they have clubs like that. You know,
Kind of similar to what we have when we have Chinatown or
yeah,
or Little Italy or those kind of places.
So
here.
so it's interesting in Hutchinson to find out who and what do we have, people from different cultures, and maybe we should look into that sometime. I think we had talked about this before, but to have a program where where we kind of like can highlight people in Hutchinson that come from different places and have different foods. We did that one time. We did have a dinner one time, and people brought different foods from different countries.
I know that when
We need to do that
Dr.
more.
Parsons sponsors a cultural day
On the
Yeah,
on
that's
the
what
college
that
campus,
culture-
and I know
yeah.
that was part of what that was about, was to have various cultures come on with their native dress and their music and their food, and just presenting their culture, you know.
I
Yeah.
think some people are finding that is of no utility. In other words, they're trying to do away with
Right, and that's not
DEI,
cool.
basically.
Right.
And I think that's a big mistake, because we all
Learn something from each other.
exactly, you know, it makes it's just like I say, you know, the bigger the band, the better the music, you know, normally, and so
Well, can we talk about what can we do to make America better when it comes to race and race relationships?
I think we have to. One of the things that I believe is we have to recognize each other's humanity.
That's what it comes down to in the end. We're all in the same boat. I mean, like with the one big world. You talk about with the astronauts, when they go out and when they're able to see the little blue dot, you know, which is the Earth, you know, and when they come back, the astronauts are famous for telling people how they've changed, that they realize how small the planet is, and we're all the same humanity, people, humans on this one little planet, and why we all got to work together
Exactly.
and live together.
Exactly.
That's all of it comes down to.
That is so true.
What do you feel, Doc? I mean, what do you think it's going to take?
A change of heart and mind. Because you can legislate all you want to legislate.
Mm-hmm.
But until people buy into it emotionally, psychologically, nothing is going to change. And I think that we have a history of violence. And by the way, one of the major things for King was nonviolence.
Absolutely.
And isn't it kind of an irony that here was a man who advocated nonviolence, but he died as a function of violence?
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing that I think about is, you know, I think that spirituality has a place to play in this thing too, because I think that the further we get away from, you know, I know there's always that big argument between the difference between church and state.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons why in my opinion, one of the reasons why there's that separation there is because when you get away from church, well, you have a tendency to try to get away from some of the moral things and some of the things that Christianity and church really teaches, and it makes them feel justified in doing the inhuman things that's going on.
Well, I see this on a personal level, and probably you guys agree or disagree, I don't know. But here's the real deal. I would not like a child only to be raised by his or her parents' values. I would like other
Absolutely.
values to come into play, like the church.
Exactly.
The church is a place where you can challenge your value system. I hope challenge it, and to make clearer those things that are not clear. Basically, thus the need for Sunday school,
Right.
because you learn about the norms, the values, the ideas of society.
hmm
Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, and it's our responsibility. We talk about making productive citizens, and so the more you can expose young people to having young
Different
impressionable
values.
minds, the better that you're gonna, the better chance you'll have of making a good, productive citizen out of that individual.
Well, let's talk about this, Pope. Whatever programs and whenever we have programs here in Hutchinson, we try to include everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't care what color it is. We try to include you because that is so important to let people see that it's not only one, but it's everybody.
We take literally United States, United States of America, etc. And when we're doing something, we take that, we're united in our community. We have all aspects of the community participating, and being involved. And so it's just that simple as far as I'm concerned.
And we work with everyone.
I like when you mentioned that real quickly. The past, when I think about the events and the things that I've helped you guys work on, and we sponsored, and the meetings that we had, and the groups and that,
Absolutely.
the whole thing about that, but the audience was always a good mix of white, black, brown, whatever.
Yes.
We always have a good representation
Always.
at the meetings that we put on, and that's what's good about it.
And we want to thank our Hispanic brothers and sisters
Absolutely.
for the support that they give us
Yes, we do.
and all the programs that we
It takes
do.
all of us working together,
It really does.
and it's appreciated. And the more that we realize that, the more progress we'll make, and the better, and we'll move in a positive direction.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the events coming up in a few weeks.
Okay,
Again, Pope, on that Sunday, which is the 18th, what's going to take place?
It's going to take place at 3:00 in the Stringer Fine Arts Center, 600 East 11th, rather. And we're going to have, the guest will be, the featured speaker for that day will be the Reverend Alan Smith from the St. John Missionary Baptist Church in Salina, Kansas, and along with his dynamic choir.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that. We're going to have some local folks as well that's going to be participating. We're going to be hearing from a very intelligent young lady that's going to be sharing some remarks. And we're looking forward to hearing her. She always does an excellent job.
And your grandson.
And yes, and then on Monday, we're looking forward to hearing from my grandson that's going to be sharing some remarks, and he always does an excellent job.
Which one is that?
DeKalb.
Yeah, okay.
And we're really excited about our speaker on Monday as well, because Dr. Mildred Edwards is going to really put the cream on the cake,
Which,
topping.
DeKalb is a new Human Relations
He's
Commissioner.
Also, a new commission member of the
fantastic.
Hutchinson Human Relations Commission. So we're looking forward to hear his remarks.
And come out at the end of the program and meet and greet.
Absolutely.
Don't rush home.
Because I
Let's get a chance to
understand there
unwind.
will be some refreshments.
Oh, yes, there will be refreshments. Even if I have to cook it myself. I don't know if
Hey, we
anybody would
want people to come now.
Pope, I think the clock on the wall says it's time to go.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, folks. We hope that you're enjoying this wonderful weather we're experiencing here in early January, and we hope you all are having a very happy new year, a safe and healthy, prosperous new year, and we look forward to seeing you in the next few weeks at the MLK activities. Thank you for tuning in.